Hey guys, it's Katie, and welcome back to That Time When, my podcast where I spill all of my stories and secrets to give you all the advice that I wish I had that time when. And that's exactly what today's episode is a lot of advice because we are talking about 27 things I have learned by 27. Now, I know to some people, giving life advice at 27 might sound completely ridiculous and stupid because 27 is very young in the grand scheme of things. However, I think the things on this list, some of which are very practical and some are more like big picture life things, I think they've been very helpful for me as I've learned these things and begun being more conscious of them or like implementing them in my life. I think that they have made my life better, made me more of a better self aware person. I don't quite know how to word what I'm trying to say, but I think you guys get what I'm getting at here. So I'm just going to jump right into the list. Number one, always take your makeup off at night. I know that when you come home drunk, it can be so easy to just like pass out with all your makeup on, or if you're too tired to just be like, screw it, it's not that big of a deal. But I swear it is the best habit that you can form to just make sure you are taking your makeup off every night. And I don't mean using just a makeup wipe. Like if that's all you got and all you got the energy for, like it's better than nothing. But I think getting in the habit of washing your face with face wash and water every single night is the best thing that you can do for your skin. Sleeping in makeup is so gross. It is like sleeping with a film on your skin. It's so nasty. Just please build up the habit. You will not be sorry. Number two, take the high road. It might feel very good when you are in a fight with someone or a disagreement or whatever to hurt them worse than they hurt you. If they're saying hurtful things, if they're doing hurtful things, it might feel good to kind of get revenge almost. But I just think that by doing that, you are giving them justification for what they've done to you. What I mean by that, if someone is, hurling insults your way and saying really hurtful things, you saying hurtful things about them in return, they can then, turn around and say, well, she said this to me, so that's why I said this to her. They're justifying what they did because you stooped down to their level. I think you're never going to regret taking the high road. I think revenge only feels good in the moment, but in the longer term, big picture of things, taking the high road, you are so much better off. Number three, that being said, I think that you should always stick up for yourself. If someone is hurting you, that doesn't mean that you need to, sit back and take it. But I think be careful about what you do say in return. I think you should absolutely stick up for yourself, but sticking up for yourself doesn't mean insulting other people. You know what I mean? But I do think it's really important to stand your ground and have your own back because you can't let people walk all over you or be a pushover because that is how you get taken advantage of. So always please stick up for yourself. I used to be such a pushover. I got picked on or bullied when I was younger. And then I did bully people because, hurt people, that whole phrase, whatever it is. But always stick up for yourself. And side note, don't bully other people. Just because you're upset doesn't mean that you should do that to other people. Anyways, number four, on a similar note, don't play games with people and don't let them play games with you. I think playing games with people, I think I'm specifically referring to like dating here, especially online dating. I feel like people play games so much and it is so stupid to me. Trust me, I dealt with so much of this shit, which you'll probably hear about when I finally record the episode all about my experiences with online dating. But anyways, I think that when you're playing games with people, you're wasting your own time, you're wasting their time, and that's extremely unfair to both of you. Why do you want to waste your own time screwing around and playing games with someone? But also, why are you wasting their time? It's their life. You don't get to choose to waste their time. You know what I mean? Anyways, don't play games. Don't be a fucking asshole. Don't do it. Number five, this is a work-related one. I think the best thing that you can contribute at work, even more than your knowledge, is your work ethic. I think people won't always remember a smart idea you had in a meeting or a great project that you worked on or whatever, but they're always going to remember how much effort you put in and the attitude you had while doing it. And that goes way, way, way further. I think things like work ethic, those are soft skills that you can't really be taught. That's kind of just someone's nature, and it says a lot about who you are as a person. And I think having a strong work ethic and a good attitude, you'll earn a lot of respect, more so than just being smart. Smart people, if they don't have a good attitude and they're not putting in the work, I don't think they're going to gain the same respect as someone who at least is trying and putting in 110%. I just think that, I mean, I don't want to say that you're replaceable at work, but I think in certain industries it can be very easy to be replaced. But the best thing you can do for yourself to make yourself as irreplaceable as possible is to show that you have a stronger work ethic than everyone around you. So always, please make sure you are working your hardest and let your work ethic speak for itself. Okay. Number 6, when you have something that you really want to do it now, because either you're never going to do it and always wish you had, or when you do start it, you're going to wish you had started sooner. I think this is something I learned with my podcast. My only regret with this podcast now is that I wish I had done it before. I wish I had started sooner and not let things hold me back. And I'm very glad that I did finally do it, because if I never had, I think I would have always, wondered what if. So always, if you have something that you're really wanting to try or wanting to do, just go for it. I don't think that there should be anything really stopping you. Just do it. Number 7, cut people out of your life who don't make you feel good. I don't think there is any room in your life for people who make you feel like you are less than or deserve less than. I've talked about my experiences with ex-boyfriends and how some of them just made me feel like I was an awful person or I wasn't deserving of a good relationship or whatever it is. Even certain friendships, I've cut out friendships because it just didn't feel like a healthy friendship. I just think that so much of life, so much of the good that comes out of life comes from who you surround yourself with. And life is too short to surround yourself with people who are not adding value to your life or who are making you feel less than who you are. You know what I mean? So if there are people in your life who you think are bringing you down, cut them out. It's not worth it. Okay, number 8. This one's kind of similar. When people show you their true colors, believe them. If someone shows you who they are at their core and you don't like it, believe them and walk away. I think as women, we so often want to fix people, or we'll stick around because we think that that's not really who someone is and they'll change, or that was just a moment in time. But I think, especially as you get older, people kind of are who they are and you can't force someone to change. So if someone shows you who they are at their core, just believe them. And if it doesn't align with what you want, walk away from the situation. And honestly, some people are really just assholes. Like, that is just a fact of life. Like, I like to assume the best of people and assume people have the best intentions, but some people are just fucking assholes. So if they show that side to you, walk away, because we got no room for assholes in our lives, guys. No, not happening. Okay, number 9. Friendships and relationships can grow apart, and that does not mean that there needs to be bad blood. I think that as you get older and as the years go on, we all change, and it's okay to go in different paths. I think not everyone is in your life forever. I think that not everyone is meant to be there forever or going to be there forever, if that makes sense. So, sometimes friendships change. Like, you're not always going to be as close to the people that you were best friends with in high school as you get older. Maybe you are. That's amazing. But I just think that people are going to come in and out of your life, and that's just natural. And, if you had a friend and you just drifted apart, that doesn't mean that you need to hate them because you drifted apart. It doesn't mean that anything bad happened. It's okay to just drift apart from people. You don't need to have bad blood with them because of it. Okay, number 10. Say sorry when you screwed up. I think people don't apologize for their actions enough and just think that time will heal all wounds. And if they know that they hurt someone, they'll kind of just distance themselves. But I think an apology goes so much further than you know. I just think that you should own your shit. Like, own up to your shit. If you feel guilty about something you did or feel bad or it was wrong or you owe someone an apology for something or you should apologize, then you should. I think that it says a lot about your character when you can just own up to your shit and give someone an apology when they deserve one from you. Number 11, holding grudges only hurts you in the long run. Instead of letting that anger and that hurt get to you, you should just let it go, because I highly doubt that they're letting it get to them. So why should you hold on to it? If someone hurt you in a situation, they're probably not thinking about that situation every day, but you're probably thinking about that hurt and that anger a lot. if you're holding this grudge towards them, but you're really only hurting yourself in the long run. You're going to feel so much better and have such a weight lifted off your shoulders if you just let it go. It's not even worth it, especially if someone's not even in your life anymore. Like I talked about this before with an ex-boyfriend in one of my old episodes. If they're not even in your life anymore, don't let them have that power over how you feel. It's just not worth it. Life's too short. Don't do it. Number 12, if you're craving something, then just have it. No one ever gained 10 pounds from having an extra slice of pizza or eating that cookie. So eat the damn cookie. Just do it. I think I used to beat myself up so much and feel so guilty if I ate something that wasn't like quote unquote healthy. But now if I'm craving something, I have it. I don't regret it. I don't feel guilty about it, and I move on. It is what it is. Okay, number 13. Everything passes and nothing is permanent. I think this is something I've had to remind myself of a lot lately with everything going on. I've been feeling very down about all of this and just feeling like it's never going to end, which I know is not true. So I've had to constantly remind myself that this is going to pass. The bad times are not there forever. When I talked in one of my old episodes all about how I got into fitness because I was in a really low point in my life, I think that was something that was very important in realizing, is that that feeling wasn't going to be forever. I wasn't going to feel that awful for forever, and it did pass. And every time that I've been in a low point in my life, it has always passed. Things have always gotten better. So I think that's something very important to remind yourself. But also, this goes for the good times too. Like I said, everything passes. Nothing is permanent. So make sure that you are enjoying the good times too, because they're not always going to be there. I mean, I'm not saying like good times are never going to happen again, but you know what I mean. Enjoy the good times, because every phase in life passes at some point. And that is a very good segue into number 14, which is live in the moment. Slow down. Don't overthink. Appreciate the good moments instead of just thinking about, how it could have been even better or what could have gone differently. I think I'm such an overthinker, and I'm such a perfectionist. I always want things to be the best they can possibly be, but I think there are a lot of things in life that are pretty great at face value. So let's just take them as such. Just live in the moment. Just enjoy things as they are. And you'll have such a greater appreciation for the good things that come your way if you can just appreciate them as is, rather than thinking about how they could have been that much better. Number 15, try not to regret things, because I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, and every experience can be a learning experience. And I think that I have done some things in my life or been through some things that to an outsider looking in, they would assume that maybe I would regret that. But I've worked very hard to shift how I think about these things and realize the things I learned from it or how it made me a better or stronger person, instead of regretting it or wishing it hadn't happened. I think everything that happens in your life shapes who you are. And there's no sense in regretting it, because everything happens for a reason. You may not believe that. So if you don't believe that, I mean, obviously, like, you don't have to take my advice here, but I really do think that everything happens for a reason, and there is something to be learned from everything that you go through, even the hard times. So try not to regret anything. Number 16, I have one exception to my regret rule, and it has to do with money. I think when in doubt about spending money, you should save your money instead of splurging on whatever item you are unsure about, because you will never regret saving your money, but you may regret spending it on something that you didn't end up loving or using as much as you thought you would. I think I look back on some of the things I've spent my money on, and it's so ridiculous. Like, I would have been so much better off putting that money towards something else or just saving it. I can't even think about it. Like I said, I try not to regret it. I just don't think about it anymore, because otherwise I would get so mad at myself. But if you're unsure about spending money on something, you probably shouldn't spend the money. Just save your money. Okay, number 17. Not everyone is going to like you, and you are not going to like everyone, and that's just how the world works. I think you're not everyone's cup of tea, and not everyone's going to be your cup of tea, and personalities are just not always going to mesh, and that's fine. That's just how the world works. There are so many I don't know how many people are on the earth, to be honest. I have no fucking idea. Let's say billions. There's billions of people on this earth. You're not going to like all of them, and not all of them are going to like you, and that's just fine. It is a-okay. But number 18 is, on the flip side, just because you don't like someone does not mean that you need to make it known. I think 9 times out of 10, it is better to just keep your mouth shut. You don't need to gossip about every bitch you don't like just because you don't like her. I think that sometimes personalities just don't mesh, and like there's always those people that you don't like, but you can't quite put a finger on why you don't like them. Like they didn't do anything to you. Something just rubs you the wrong way. So you don't need to tell everyone you don't like them, because honestly, you don't even really have a reason to justify it. So I think if you don't like someone, that's fine. Like I said, you're not going to like everyone, but you don't need to go around telling everyone about it. And this is especially relevant at work. You should be very careful. I know we all need to vent, but you should be very careful about who you vent to if you don't like your coworkers. Sometimes it's better to just keep it to yourself. If you have like a trusted good friend at work and you guys want to vent and bitch about Stacy over in accounting, you do you. Live your life. But I think just be careful. You don't need to tell everyone that you don't like Stacy just because you don't like how she does her hair. Whatever it is. I don't know. Okay, moving on. Number 19, trust your gut. Especially when it comes to dating, trust your gut. I said it in a past episode, but us women have a really strong natural instinct, and you should always listen to that because chances are it is spot on. I think if you choose to ignore it, then you are just being naive. In my Craigslist boyfriend cheater episode, I think that there were a lot of times that clearly my gut was telling me something was off and I was right, and I forgave him. So obviously I learned my lesson to not forgive when someone screws you over. But anyways, that would be getting into a whole different thing. But you get what I'm saying. If you feel like something is off, you're probably right. If something doesn't feel right, you are probably right. So just always trust that instinct. I have never felt wronged by my gut instinct. You know what I mean? Like every time that I've gotten a gut feeling about something and I have listened to it, I've always felt like it was the right choice. And I strongly encourage you to always do the same. Okay, number 20. You can't please everyone, so just work on pleasing yourself. I think that you are the one who has to live with your decisions at the end of the day. So if you feel good about what you're doing and how you're living your life, then that's really all that matters. Not every decision you make is going to make everyone happy because everyone has different opinions on things and different beliefs and whatever. But as long as you're being true to what you believe and pursuing your own happiness, that's really all that should matter, because at the end of the day, this is your life. So work on pleasing you. Okay, number 21. I know a lot of these have been very like philosophical and, big picture life tips. But I also want to say not everything needs to be so deep. I think that while I do believe everything happens for a reason, sometimes shit is going to happen and you need to just kind of let it roll off your back and move on, or someone will say something and you just can't take it. So personally, I just think a lot of shit's going to happen in life, and like you've got to learn to laugh at stuff, and not everything needs to be some big, huge deal. I think people can read into stuff a lot, and like I'm the first one to say I overthink stuff all the time. But I just think like, life's supposed to be fun. If you're making everything some big, deep thing and some huge deal, like life's going to stop being fun real quick. So not everything needs to be so deep. Sometimes just take things for what they are and, keep going. Okay, number 22. Put yourself first. I'm going to repeat that. Put yourself first. I think being gracious and generous and selfless are amazing qualities to have, but do not do those things at your own expense. You can only give to other people when your own cup is full, so make sure that you are always putting yourself first. I think I am someone who, in past relationships and friendships, but more so relationships, I have put the other person first, so much so that it was detrimental to me, and I was feeling so drained and empty because I was giving so much to other people and not getting anything in return, and not giving anything to myself. I wasn't making sure I was feeling whole before I was giving to other people. Always put yourself first. Have your own back. You should be your own number one priority. Bottom line. Please, if you take one thing from this, put yourself first. Okay, number 23. I think you should always try to put yourself in someone else's shoes before you react. I think it's important to try to see both sides of something because everyone has different life experiences, different backgrounds that shape how they view the world. And I don't think that you need to agree with someone to at least be able to see their side of things. But I do think it is very important to at least be able to see where other people are coming from. I think you can stand by your beliefs 1,000% and not have to be ignorant about why other people believe what they believe. That was probably a very weird, confusing way of saying that, but I think I got my point across. Anyways, always try to put yourself in someone else's shoes. Try to have empathy for other people. Having empathy doesn't mean that you need to, all of a sudden agree with what they think or change your own opinions, but you can at least understand why they're reacting the way that they're reacting or why they feel the way they feel if you try to put yourself in their shoes. And I think that that goes a very long way. Okay, number 24. Keep your space clean and organized. I think it is amazing how much a clean space helps keep your mind clear. I think this goes for your home, your car, whatever it is. Take pride in the things that you own. Also, that's another thing, like take pride in your possessions and, maintain them and take pride in your space. But a clean and organized space will do wonders for your mindset. I am someone, I can't go to bed at night if I know that my apartment is messy and there's dishes in the sink. I can't sit down at my desk to do work if my office is disorganized. I am someone who I have to have a clean, organized space for my focus to really kick in. But it really is amazing how much a clean and organized space will change your mindset. It makes me feel so much more motivated. I just feel more clear-headed. Highly recommend. Keep your space clean and organized. Do a little something every day to keep it that way, and it will pay off so much in the long run. All right, moving on. Number 25. Stand by your morals and be yourself no matter who is around. I think we all know someone who their personality will change depending on who they're with, but I think everyone admires the person who is unapologetic about who they are and shows the same character no matter who's in the room. And I think that's something we should all strive for. I hate those when people are like those fair weather people who, they're acting one way with this person, but then around that person they act a totally different way. Like that's just, it's like they don't know who they are. And I'm not faulting people for being on their own discovery and whatever. But I just think it's always very admirable when you see someone who stands by their character and, knows who they are and they are that person no matter who they're around. I just think we should all strive to be that way. And that's something I strive for. I don't think I'm perfect at it, but that's something I really strive for and I think is important. All right, number 26. Take care of your health, however that looks for you. I think if you are fortunate enough to have good health, you should do whatever you can to keep it that way because not everyone is so lucky. I think that if you have your health, you are very, very fortunate and very wealthy in that sense. And you should cherish that and respect it and try to do what you can to maintain it because there are people who are not as fortunate and it's really awful and sad to see, especially with what's going on in the world right now. I think that if you are fortunate enough to be in good health, do what you can to keep it that way. All right. And now my last tip, number 27. Not tip. It's not really a tip. It's like a learning. I don't know. Number 27. Say yes more than you say no. I think you should take advantage of experiences, opportunities, whatever it is that come your way because you will never know what can come of them and you will never know what might be a one-time thing and what opportunities may never come up again. I just think experiences and memories are worth so much more than any material item out there. I think my best memories are from places I went and people I met and things I did rather than things I own. I don't have good memories of the things I own necessarily, but I have great memories from, experiences I've had. And I just think that that's so much more valuable than any material item that you can buy. I used to have this motto. I still stand by it, not quite as strongly as I used to because I took a lot of liberties with this phrase back in the day. But I think if you got a good story out of something, then it was worth it. I always used to say that. That's how, I got a lot of these stories for this podcast, ones that you've heard and ones you will hear. But anyways, I just think that you should try to always say yes. You know, I know that a lot of people, there's all these memes like on Instagram and shit about staying home and people being homebodies, and people are still going to turn down plans even when quarantine is over. But I really do think you should say yes more than you say no. I think you'll be surprised by all the great things that you get to experience and things that could happen if you just say yes a little bit more often. So yeah, just say yes more. Do it. All right, guys, I think that is it because we hit 27, so that actually is it. I don't have any more learnings for you guys. But yeah, I think that all of these things are just things that I have realized are very important to me. As I was coming up with this list, I honestly like brain dumped it into a note on my phone. But as I was coming up with this list, I just realized like these are all things that are very important to me and things that I try to stand by. And they've kind of, you know, become a part of my character. And like I said a couple of times throughout this, I'm not perfect, and I don't think that I display all of these things at all times, but they're things that I at least strive for and pieces of me that I want other people to see through my actions and my words and whatever. But anyways, I would love to know some of the best things that you've learned as you've gotten older. So you can head over to my Instagram at thattimewhenpod. Comment them on my latest post. Let me know some of your best life learnings for everyone else. But that's going to be it for today. Please, if you have not, head over to Apple Podcasts and leave me a review. I would appreciate it so much. It goes such a long way with me. But that's going to be it, and I will talk to you guys next week.